You're good. You're good. We're not on. You're good. Okay, we're live. There you go. I didn't even know, Teddy. How's it going? How are y'all doing? We are live at AT&T Stadium. We're just getting set up here as I want to make sure everybody can get this, get the link out. So thank y'all for being here with us. We are live as Texas and Oklahoma. Texas, Ohio. I'm in Dallas. Why not? Texas and Ohio State get set for the college football playoff. We're waiting on Steve Sarkisian's entrance. Sark should be on his way in shortly. He and Darby Brown's over there getting shots of him as he comes in. One of the really unique things that Steve Sarkisian does before games that I think we all love. He walks in on his own with headphones in and his security around him. He takes a lap around the field. I'm gonna have Teddy get this. Hey Teddy, as Steve walks up, we'll have you pan over to him. But Sark will come in and he will take a lap around the field, and he's on the phone with his parents. I've always thought that was like the coolest thing ever. Getting a chance to have the job that Sark has and do the things that Sark does, and then get to sorry, I'm just trying to get this out on all our platforms, but get the chance to talk to your parents as you walk around the field before the biggest game of your life is amazing. Stephanie, can you hear me? I think we're up live, so I'm just rolling with this. So thank you. Stephanie's back at CBS Austin taking care of us, getting us going. Okay, we're underway. So I've just always said it's really special to watch Sark walk around the field and get a chance to talk to his parents before the game. So he's going to do that shortly. Apparently he was supposed to be here a few minutes ago. I wouldn't imagine the buses are running late. I would imagine it's either Dallas traffic or something else is going on that is very minor, I would assume. But we don't see Ohio State out here either, so it's not like either team has had a chance to take the field. They're supposed to kick off at 6:30 tonight. We'll see if it's actually 6:30 because that 90 minutes to kick will go off. There's a clock up in the stadium that says 90 minutes to kick. And that thing, I promise, will not go off at 5 o'clock on the dot. We will obviously have a few things that they get to before then. So I'm going to keep this up, keep this rolling. We're going to have a few guests come in. Darby will be over here shortly as she shoots Sark coming in. I'm going to try to grab some people as they walk by. We've got all kinds, obviously national media. This whole row of this end zone is full of people doing live shots. And again, it goes to Dallas media, the Texas media, Austin media, Columbus media, but then you get to the national stage, ESPN, Fox, like everybody's here. Everybody doing stuff as they get set for this. So we have a few Texas people out on the field. Some of the trainers were out early, and some of the guys that are, Craig Way's out here. We're hoping to get Craig on here in a few minutes to talk to him about what he thinks. He's going to talk to Sark. He gets a little pregame thing with them, get a feel of where the team is. One interesting note, and I know we're going to hit on this quite a few times. Let me get this out. Hang on one second. But one of the things that we'll talk about tonight is the kicking situation. We're in a very interesting time right now with the Texas kicking position. Bert Auburn, of course, missed a few late in the game against Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. And so Sark has had, they've had whatever it is. At this point, we're all kind of in the same boat. We don't know what day it is, but they've had a few, a week maybe to really figure out what they're going to do at kicker. Bert went 4 of 6 in the SEC title game and then missed a couple late, doinked one to win the game against Arizona State. Sark yesterday was non-committal about what he was going to do in that situation. So there is a report out today from Jeff Ketchum at Orange Bloods who says that that it's going to be Will Stone tonight, which is and I do want to talk more about this when Darby gets over here, but what a dramatic change it would be if it is Will Stone tonight. Bert Aubert's been your kicker for 2 years. You're in game 16 of your season. Let's say there's not a field goal attempted tonight, and it's a 23-21 game with 10 seconds left, and you're going to ask Will Stone, who went to Regents in Austin, you ask Will Stone to walk out on the field and kick his first collegiate field goal from 45 yards to win and send your team to the national championship. I mean, listen, at some point you say, Bert's not doing it, we got to move on. I get it. It's just, either way, the decision could be criticized or be hailed. So, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what the decision is. But again, Jeff Ketchum earlier today said he's hearing that could be something that happens as they go with Will Stone tonight, which would just be so interesting. A couple weeks ago before the Arizona State game, we saw Will post on Instagram, basically just like doing what I love. It was a shot of him in the bubble kicking, and so, there's so many things to get into. There's so much to get. You're going to get to. So many other things have to happen to even get Texas in that position tonight. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We do want y'all to comment, share, like this, hop on with us, talk to us, ask us questions. Because this is part of the live stream. Is we just want you guys to filter in what questions you have about tonight. Hopefully, Darby's going to hop over here in a few minutes, and we'll talk about kind of our key points to the game tonight. What we think the biggest, how Texas finds the path to victory. It's, as you guys know, if you're following this, everybody's picking Ohio State. I mean, there aren't a lot of people that are on the Texas side saying, we believe this is going to be Texas, right? So that's been an interesting part of this for sure, to see some of that national media saying what they're saying. But all right, I'm going to try to get on with you guys and be able to chat with you here on Facebook as well. I'm gonna let. There's literally, we don't have much going on yet, which is interesting because by this point normally we have Texas out on the field, talking about or getting some of that special teams warmed up. But again, maybe this game's going to be a little bit later than 6:30. Obviously, the pregame and all those kind of things. That's what we always like to hone in on that and see what happens. All right, let's get to some of those talking points as we wait and see if Texas is going to make it in here shortly. I do want to, let me get this out real quick. I'm going to share this. Copy the link. There we go. Boy, what a road to get here, right? Some of the craziest. It's been a wild year. We think about some of the top things that have happened this year for this Texas football team. I think, if you were going to have a number one play from this year, I don't think anybody would question that it goes back to last week or whatever, 10 days ago, when Quinn Ewers hit the 4th and 13 to Matthew Golden. I don't know that nothing. I don't know that anything will beat that. I mean, obviously, winning this game, winning next week would do that. But other than that, this team's just kind of methodically taken down teams this year. I think that's been one of the more interesting. I apologize for this kind of slow start here. That's not a. Hopefully, that's not the case for Texas tonight, right? But that's kind of the one. If there's been one, I don't know the right word, interesting, unique part of this Texas team this year, it's got to be that they haven't just pummeled teams. They did in the opener against Colorado State with a 52-0 win. They did against Louisiana Monroe, but everyone else, they've just kind of, not to go two rounders here, but hanging around. They've let these teams hang around forever. My buddy's signaling down to me, here comes Sark. We believe he's coming now, so maybe we'll get to get going here a little bit. Yeah, Sark's coming. All right, we got Steve Sarkisian coming up here in just a minute. But as I was saying, one of the things that's been really interesting is they just haven't put teams away the way that I think maybe a lot of people thought they would put teams away. Sark's going to come toward us first. All right, so Sark's coming our way. But they haven't really put the teams away the way maybe we thought we were. Here comes Steve Sarkisian as Texas gets set for tonight's college football playoff semifinal against Ohio State. Like I said, what a special, unique moment for him to get to walk around the field. You see him with his AirPods on. He walks around the field and talks to his parents in the pregame. How special is that? You know, I mean, I know everybody has their thing. Everybody gets to have their moment, but it's such a special thing to see Sark get that opportunity to walk around the field, talk to his parents, and Teddy, I'm gonna step back out here. To walk around the field and talk to his parents, it's pretty awesome. Like, you don't get a lot of unique traditions and unique things with your family, and so for Sark to get to do that, he'll call his parents and have a conversation with them. It'll usually be like, seriously, like right at the 50-yard line, he'll stop and talk to them. Could be on the other side tonight. But a really special moment for Sark as he enters, as Texas gets set to take on Ohio State. So that means the team's here, and they are firing away, getting ready to figure this out. All right, so back to what we were talking about a little earlier. The report that I saw from Jeff Ketchum. I'm not sure who else has reported it today, but I know Jeff reported that Texas is leaning toward, or at least almost 100% toward, if I read the tweet correctly, that Will Stone will get the nod over Bert Auburn tonight. We know Bert struggles. We know what's happened with him over the last, how long's it been? I don't want to. It hadn't been a year-long thing, but it's been last couple months. Beyond 40 yards, he's 6 of 14. He was 9 of 9 from inside 40 yards until that game-winning field goal attempt against Arizona State. And we go back to like right before the play, Sark grabs him at midfield. He's on his helmet. He's smiling. Bert's smiling. He's trying to get his kicker relaxed. And there are a lot of people maybe critical of that. I don't know that critical is the right description there, because I don't think that's a fair description. I think your kicker, your players. I remember Mac Brown talked to Justin Tucker before the 40-yard field goal at Texas A&M, and if there was ever a big kick, if there was ever one kick that you say, what's the biggest kick in Texas history? Hunter Lawrence over Nebraska in this stadium in 2009 was probably bigger, but I don't know that there's a bigger kick in terms of history of the rivalry than that one. And so, my man, you want to chat? Let me get this. I got Cedric Golden from the Statesman coming over. Hi, brother.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
What's going on?
Good to see you.
Well, who are we talking to? Your minions? Your millions?
All the millions of minions, yes.
Lots of them, man.
Cedric Golden, lead columnist at the Austin American-Statesman. Great to have you on. Sark just walked in. We're talking about kind of the special things, the moment he gets to have with his parents as he talks on the phone, walks around the stadium. What are your thoughts as he walks in this stadium tonight? I know we can hype this thing up and say whatever we want all week, but as they walk in tonight, what are your first thoughts?
My first thoughts is when he said they were a massive underdog, he didn't believe it.
Oh, 100, no.
I know him too well. Yeah. This guy doesn't deal in that.
Yeah.
That was a little gamesmanship by Sark. He believes in his heart of hearts they're going to win this football game. He doesn't know how yet, but he thinks he can figure it out over 4 quarters how to beat Ohio State. I believe that.
I'm with you on that. I think it was interesting for him to go about it that way too, because somebody posed the question, which was basically, you said you're a massive underdog, which again, 6 points is not massive, but
Nothing
when you get to this point,
about 6 points.
But he, to his point, he said everybody in this room probably thinks Ohio State is the favorite, and that's fine. That's college football. That's the reality. But our reality is our reality. Our standard is our standard. So what is it? What is it about Texas tonight? What do they have to do to beat this juggernaut Ohio State team that the last 2 weeks has looked like the team I think they thought they would be this year?
It's a good question. I think they got to turn Ohio State Will Howard into K-State Will Howard. That's what they got to do.
Yeah.
They got to turn 12-2 Will Howard into 0-3 Will Howard against the Longhorns.
Okay, so how do they do that? I mean, I know it's pressure on him, but they've got these.
Get him off the spot. Get him off the
Judkins
spot.
and Henderson and Smith and Ibuka, and it goes on and on.
First thing you do is you make him uncomfortable. Make him uncomfortable. I think they're going to take away Jeremiah Smith. You're not going to have him going one-on-one all night. Why would you do that?
Right.
Take him away. Deal with Judkins and Henderson.
And you can. You've been a great rushing defense.
Deal with them because you're a top 5 rush defense. Don't get involved in a track meet. And number 2, That offense can't beat you if they're not on the field. You got to run the football. And that's something they haven't done consistently lately. Get Quintravian going, get Jadon Blue going. That's a big deal.
You kind of hit on the two things that I thought were most important. One of the things I think is interesting, if you go back and watch that Michigan game, and I know there's a lot of criticism on Ryan Day for what his game plan, everything he did there, but Michigan ran the ball 42 times. And they stayed on the field, and they kept their offense on the field. I know Sark loves to score and score fast, but to your point, how do you get Quintravian Weisner going when they couldn't run the ball against Georgia? And Arizona State, fine, whatever, but they couldn't run the ball against a good front like Georgia. This front is better, if not the best, in college football.
Patience.
Does Sark have it, though?
No.
You know what I mean?
He does not.
He doesn't have the patience.
I think if they run it 10 times for 25 yards, he's going to turn Quinn loose. And that might be to Texas's detriment.
Yeah.
It's imperative that they run the football, Bob. If they can't, they've got to run it effectively. I'm not saying 8 yards a carry.
Right.
If they can average 3.8 yards a carry and just take a little bit of pressure off of Quinn and make play action believable, then they have a chance. The secondary can be had. It's a great front. It's a great front seven. They're I think 5th or 6th in the country with 47 sacks. They have good players, but I think Texas has really good players as well.
Yeah.
They got 5 All-Americans on this team.
Right.
A long time going to come in here and lay down.
I mean, people don't act like that, though.
They
If you
really
watched
don't.
anything over the last, and I know you went on Feinbaum. Like, what is his take? How is that national perspective of Texas?
All I'll say is the last thing that Paul Feinbaum just said to me was, "You're the first person since Bevo to pick the Horns to win this game."
To your point about the run game, Michigan ran it for 4.1 yards per carry. I think that's what they've got to do. I'll let you run. I know you got a bunch to do, but
I'm not going anywhere, huh?
Oh, my man.
Until 6:30, we can talk. I'm good.
I think Quinn has been the enigma for this Texas team this year. I've said since he got over that oblique injury, you saw the deep ball against A&M come back, 360 against Georgia, what he did last week in the clutch. Is he the guy tonight that you expect him to be? Do you think the Quinn Ewers that has been here the last 5 weeks is the guy we see tonight?
If he has time.
Yep.
If they run the football.
Yep.
This whole offense is predicated on play-action passing. And who believes a play-action pass if you're averaging 1.4 yards a carry? Who cares that you're faking it?
Yeah.
So Quinn Ewers needs time to throw, and he needs a capable run game to sell those routes that he's so good in making. I'm not worried about deep balls, but the intermediate stuff, he's as good as anybody. And if he can make that happen, you're going to pick Will Howard or Quinn Ewers.
And back to the Will Howard point. He's thrown 9 interceptions. This is my stat said. This is the one I found. Will Howard has 9 interceptions this year. 4 of them are to the opposition's number 7.
Really?
Hello, Jade Barron.
Wow.
How are you doing? Andrew Makuba had his moment. Michael Taff had his moment against Clemson and his old friend Cade Klubnik on the final play of the game.
How long did it take you to dig up that stat?
I'll tell you what was funny. I was getting ready. I was doing Adrian Phillips. We were doing our AP Honors segment. And I said, I looked, and when he got picked off by Michigan, again, a lot of his, by the way, to your point, a lot of those interceptions, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. Like he gets in that moment and it kind of hits him.
Behind the chains.
But he threw a pick to a Michigan number 7. And I went, oh, that's interesting. And the next play I found of an interception of his was the pick 6 against Penn State, which was also to a number 7. And my mind was like,
I gotta look.
Who else?
I gotta find
Nebraska and Michigan State, both number 7.
Wow.
So I think I really do believe this could be a night for Jade Barrett. I think he's been the lockdown guy, but at some point they've got to go at him. And I think with Jeremiah Smith, with Emeka Ibuka, we're going to see more of Jade Barrett. We haven't seen a lot of him this year because he's been so locked down. Could be a big night for him.
I think this is a big night for Colin Simmons.
Yeah, I like
He's
that.
back home. Time to get unleashed.
Yeah.
Time to get unleashed. Ethan Burke. Those are the type of people. Barron Sorrell.
Yeah.
Pass rushers have to show up. If the pass rushers show up, then it's going to be interesting. But if it's 24-7 at halftime, then we'll start talking about hoops.
Or next year. Or I was actually going to say we'll start talking about Arch because that's what everybody is going to want to talk about.
I mean, start talking about Arch? When did we stop?
Yeah, right. One more player I do think will be interesting tonight is Jaden Blue because if they can use his speed offensively. I know when Trayvon's going to get the start and be the guy, but we've seen what Jaden can do. He fumbles too much, but we've seen what he can do in open space. You get that guy in open space, now it's a different story.
Especially with dump-offs.
Yeah.
That might take a little bit of steam off those pass rushers. That's a big emphasis.
Yeah.
And you got to look at he's played great lately.
Yeah, he has.
He's been good.
He has. When they give him touches. I mean, that's the key. You got to give him touches.
Two last game. They're going to have to. They got to take the air out of the ball.
Yeah.
They do.
Same for Gunnar Helm. Get Gunnar Helm involved because he's been one of the best tight ends in the country all year. Okay, I'm going to let you go on this one because I think this is an interesting one. There's a report out today that it sounds like Will Stone's going to be the kicker. What are your thoughts on that? Because this is what I keep going back to. If it's 24-22 with 3 seconds left and you got a 48-yard field goal to win the game, and you're going to ask Will Stone to come in and make his first collegiate field goal attempt, that sounds like a lot to ask. But Burt hasn't been hitting him, so it's a weird spot for Sark to be in. You can criticize or glorify regardless of what the decision is. What do you think if he does go with Will tonight?
I think it's Sark's team. He knows his personnel. You set it up for a 38-yard field goal and you center it indoors and you still can't make it.
Right.
Maybe it's just time to try something else. It's a lot to ask of Will Stone, but I don't think this is a field goal game. This is a touchdown game. And if it's 4th and 5 from the 30-yard line, Sark's going for it on 4th and 5.
Yeah.
He needs touchdowns to beat Ohio State, not field goals.
I agree. All right, get out of here. Go get some work done. Enjoy the pregame atmosphere in this game. Say hi to my mom. I know she's watching.
I miss Cheryl. I love you.
Said I love you. You're the man. Thanks, brother.
All right, man.
Appreciate you stopping by. That's Cedric Golden, the Austin American Statesman. Enjoy the game, brother. I'll see you up there.
All right, man.
Good stuff. Great stuff as always. I think that stuff it's kind of what we've been hitting on so much all week. It's this idea of make Will Howard beat you. And I know he played great against Oregon, but he's hitting Jeremiah Smith on patterns that are wide open. Emeka Egbuka makes an unbelievable catch for that second touchdown, I should say. But get the pressure on Will Howard. Force him into things that he's not that he's not used to, but that he's not capable of. We've seen, I was just mentioning that on 3rd and long, Will Howard struggled a bit this year. That's how you get to them. This is as explosive an offense as Texas has faced. This is the best team Texas has faced. I mean, this isn't, I think with everybody picking Ohio State and saying Ohio State's going to win this game, you get it. You understand why. This is an unbelievable Ohio State team. So how does Texas make this their game? How does Texas do what it's done to get to this point to take the next step and get to their first college football national championship game in 15 years when they took on Alabama? So we'll see if that happens. We'll see. We're watching some of these guys walk around right now. We've got a few more minutes left before we flip over for our 5 o'clock hit over on CBS Austin. We'll hope you join us for that as Texas gets set to play Ohio State here at AT&T Stadium in the college football playoff semifinal. This is, I just got to tell you, this is awesome. What a setting. The Kilgore Rangerettes were out here, which was a lot of fun too, because I'll tell you the story real quick. If we can get Craig way over here, we're going to try to, but before we have to hop off. But the Kilgore Rangerettes are doing like all their people ever are coming back for a pregame ceremony to do this. And obviously Julia Morales, who's the Astros reporter that's been fantastic at her job forever. She used to work in Austin. I got to catch up with her for a few minutes. I saw a friend of mine from high school that I haven't seen in 30 years, Claire Rainey. I ran into her. She was a Kilgore Rangerette. And then another buddy of mine, his wife was a Rangerette too. I got to talk to her. It's funny how you're just walking along the field and you run into the most random of people. But the Rangerettes obviously have done a tremendous job here for the longest time. We are, kind of just the Texas players are out on the field. Teddy, I don't know if you can get in on that on the other side of the field. It's a long way away, but you can see the Texas players are on the other side of the field starting to get loose. They're in the sun. By the way, I walked the field. We always talk about the Jerry Jones and the curtains here at AT&T Stadium. I walked into that sun. I don't know how a wide receiver would ever catch a ball with the sun coming into them. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what that looks like. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life that he won't put the curtains up. Because when you walk into that, if a ball is coming at you in that sun, you cannot see. It's impossible. So I guess not to knock Jerry too much as we're inside his beautiful stadium here, but Goodness gracious, just shut the curtains. But anyway, Texas down there warming up. We're watching them as they come out on the field, see some of the defensive linemen and offensive linemen get set. Cam Williams is going to play tonight. Another great thing for Texas. They have a tremendous opportunity with Cam back at tackle. He's done a fantastic job for them this year, and really come on. He's a guy that they think could be a first-round pick with his size and his athleticism. And so Cam Williams will play tonight for Texas. That was probably the best news to come out of the Steve Sarkisian press conference yesterday. And the Longhorns, as they get set for Ohio State here in, we say, an hour and a half. The 90-minute clock has not started yet. I assume it will probably be closer to probably 6:40 kick would be my guess, 6:45, somewhere in there. They'll do a bunch of pregame stuff, pregame ceremonial type stuff as they get set for Ohio State. We're going to wrap this up here maybe in just a couple minutes. I want to give this a second and see if I can pull somebody else over here. But we appreciate you guys joining us. I love these. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to hop on real quick and just see if we have any comments or anything you guys were talking about or wanted us to answer. As Texas gets set for Ohio State here in about an hour and a half in the college football playoff. Hey, there's Darby Brown. Darby Brown walking into frame. Look at that. It's good to see Darby here. I was trying to pull Craig Way over here for a second, but he walked away. I guess he must not like me as much as I thought he did. Maybe he's just
You're probably busy doing.
He's probably busy doing. No, he was just talking to Steve Sarkisian for the pregame show for Texas football. Darby, any takeaways as Texas walks in? What are your thoughts?
One cool moment was Michael Taft walked in with a big smile on his face. We know he's had some good games in this stadium, and you can tell he was. I don't know. You don't often see players smile when they walk inside. They're usually got the game faces on, but Michael Taft, he's a guy that wants to take the opponent's souls, but I think he had a moment where he was like, all right, let's do this in this place that I like. So that was cool.
A defensive MVP here in the state championship game against Quinn Ewers. I know we've told that story a million times now, but actually pretty cool last night to see Jaden Greathouse get into the national championship game. The great wide receiver from Westlake that's now at Notre Dame had a touchdown catch last night as Notre Dame now awaits, which is another. We go back to a lot of things. I was talking to somebody earlier, and we were talking about the 2015 game, and they said, do you remember when Texas went to South Bend and got a first down? First down. So anyway, it was good stuff. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take us off of our live stream. We want to thank you all for joining us. We're going to hop on to CBS Austin News at 5. We're going to have a live coverage there. Darby will probably talk a little more about Michael Taft, would be my guess. And then and we'll continue our coverage online and look forward to seeing you guys. I mean, what a moment this is for Texas football. Steve Sarkisian's made this happen again. Second straight year they're in the college football playoff semifinal. We'll see if they can make it back to their first national championship in 15 years. She's Darby Brown. I'm Bob Ballou. We'll see y'all in a little bit. Thank y'all for joining us, and enjoy the game tonight. We may stay on here for a second.